Fortnite Klombo trailer has just been revealed for Season 2, and despite that being the case, with it being teased that Klombos could be making a return after the war between the Imagined Order and the Seven being the ultimate theme of this season. Speaking of trailers, despite the recent return of building-like modes, what if I told you that we haven't even seen the first update of Chapter 3 Season 2 yet, being 20.10, which, believe it or not, is releasing literally in a matter of days from when you're watching this video, as it's already on the staging servers, and rumour has it it's releasing on the 5th of April 2022. Today's video is not only going to be covering the return of Klombos, the information or intel we have on this or hints pointing toward it, but everything in that update itself, ranging from brand new vehicles, the progression of the storyline, how the map is going to change according to this, new items to play with when the update goes live in-game, free rewards we can get even right now, and just honestly so much more. If that sounds like something you want to know about, then do yourself the favour today, sit back, relax, grab your favourite snacks, stick around and watch the full video. But speaking of favours, one you can do me, considering it's 100% free to do right now, is enter code FM1 inside the Fortnite item shop. Entering this code not only puts a giant smile on my face, but also cheers up my pug Gus, as he's been kinda sad about the fact he knows 70% of you watching right now are not subscribed. So if you hit the big red button right now, we're incredibly close, as you can see, to 2.4 million, so you, yes the individual, may be the 2.4 millionth subscriber. After all, this only benefits you too, considering I give different subscribers every single day who are simply, yes, subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on, and then comment their Epic Games ID down below and potentially what they'd like to receive. So yeah, that could be you gifted in front of hundreds of thousands of eyes to see in the very next video on the channel. But with that said, now enough messing around, we need to dive into everything 20.10 and more specifically the Klombo trailer, which we're going to be revealing, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. I'm not, I'm sitting on my back. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, so before we dive into the meat of the video, being the Klombos, their return, when this is going to be happening, and the trailer showcasing it, some more imminent intel that you guys need to know about happening literally in a few days time. Firstly, for those that don't know, with this season starting out with the no build movement, of course, considering this has kind of been countered or added to now with building playlists for all solos, duos, trios and squad based modes. With Fortnite again releasing this trailer, kind of declaring this was the case over on their Twitter and posting a YouTube short, believe it or not, a trailer that not many people have paid attention to or are actually talking about is the Zero Build trailer, and more specifically this segment right here, which basically shows the introduction, or should I say the return, of jetpacks in Fortnite Season 2 of Chapter 3. Fun fact, you can actually use these early now before the 20.10 update, which again is meant to be occurring, I believe, on the 5th of April 2022 in the Toy Box mode if you go over to your playlist and then simply select this one. And with the jetpack returning, of course, the files have been updated so that when you're actually using it and aiming down the sight, you're not just going to keep going up and up and up, so then yeah, if you fall down after that specific usage has maxed out in that one burst, you can actually just hover around, and this helps with weapon accuracy and actually eliminating your enemies easier. And speaking of things not talked about, considering we don't know the Enlightened styles exactly or what they'll look like as of now, considering they're just question marks in the bonus reward section, considering these should have already been revealed, it's looking like we're going to be seeing them the earliest anyways in this new downtime update, or should I say the first of 4 for Chapter 3 Season 2 being 20.10. If you're wondering about super styles and what they are, well basically they're the higher battle pass rewards for getting all the way to level 200, which in the last season case, despite the blue and red styles, unlocked Gold Spider-Man, and the gold versions were obviously the last evolution stage of each battle pass skin. And whilst we're on the topic of things that have kind of gone unnoticed despite jetpacks and the selectable super styles anyways in the bonus reward section, believe it or not, as you can see from one of the current news tab sections, global effort trial period is basically going on for these two weapons, being the Mark 7 assault rifle and also the combat assault rifle, before, well, we have to make a decision as to which one out of these two stays through the funding vote station system. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to be voting for the Mark 7 AR, considering it brings a new dynamic to Fortnite by aiming down sight as a first-person kind of mode in this third-person world. And despite the combat AR being new and fresh, it doesn't really bring anything new to the table that any other AR realistically does already. Speaking of a weapon kind of returning in a revamped manner, however, as you can see from the trailer in the background that Fortnite released on their official verified Twitter, there is supposedly a brand new hybrid pump shotgun, which Hypex stated the following about in terms of its stats. With the actual stats being on screen, he attached a tweet stating this one is a single barrel shotgun mix of the pump and double barreled. It shoots one bullet and then reloads like the double barreled shotgun animation we've seen in the trailer, and supposedly the stats of this weapon go up to even the likes of Mythic. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this means they'll add another Mythic boss despite just Dr. Sloan obviously, and even this Master Key looking character, which seems to be a new selectable style. Of course, Gunner isn't a brand new Mythic boss though, but speaking of brand new Mythic bosses we could be seeing and brand new Mythic weapons too, one that will be returning actually from a prior season that everybody seemed to love is the Wolverine Claws, obviously meaning Wolverine, as Hypex states here, will be returning as an NPC with revamped Wolverine Mythic Claws, perhaps even working again how we see with this Master Key looking character, as it performs a really cool animation when using this weapon or ability. Hopefully though, when Wolverine Wolverine is added back, he's not as strong as he previously was, considering, yeah, this was a nightmare challenge to actually eliminate him in order to unlock the skin. Whilst we're on the subject of weapons or abilities that we can use to eliminate other players, a beloved sniper that was renowned for its one-shot kill potential, whether it was hitting it in the torso or definitely the head, has actually been nerfed to not do this anymore. As you can see on screen right now, Hypex states the following about the heavy sniper: it will return this season but with some changes. Damage remains the same, but headshots got nerfed from 200 to, well, the max of 198, and then builds damage almost cut in half, and then the reload time actually buffed. You'll have to let me know down below in the comments if that is a good thing for this one specific weapon that's been renowned for its power. But speaking of other rifle-like bolt action weapons, the hunting rifle also got nerfed and is no more a one-shot headshot like the heavy sniper also, which is kind of worrying as Hypex states, considering it seems like Epic is taking no one-shot headshot route, which I think is kind of dumb in itself, to be honest. And again, as you can see, the headshot damage is nerfed from 200 to a max of 198, which I think is actually kind of absurd, to be honest. On the flip side of that, no pun intended, ha, you get it because the Chapter 3 island, okay, I won't make jokes. Believe it or not, what was considered one of the most overpowered vehicles that was kind of a beta version of the web slingers we saw implemented for Spider-Man in Chapter 3 Season 1 are the ballers. These of course rided in the same season as Peely in the Battle Pass, Chapter 1 Season 8, and these were very annoying not only because you could swing around the map almost instantaneously if you mastered the maneuverability of them, but also you had a giant bubble surrounding you, and it seems like now, as Hypex stated, Fortnite are working on a new baller vehicle, but the HP of these ones is 400 instead of 300 being the HP of the ones in Chapter 1 Season 8 before they were nerfed, obviously when the World Cup era was around, considering Epic decided, yeah, these are too overpowered to actually play too big of a part in this tournament. And before we dive too much into the Klombo stuff, as you can see in this loading screen right here, which people believe to contain Klombo bones, of course we can see the baller. So is this hinting the return of Klombos with these bones right here that we know to not exactly look like the Devourer's bones? Maybe so, find out later in the video. Speaking of things returning though, that was teased initially in the April crew trailer to everybody, is the LMG, which actually, believe it or not, has been nerfed. This thing previously seemed like it shot forever, however, considering the magazine size has been reduced from 100 to 60 now, this won't be the case, but the reload time has been increased, so this might also remain the same if you've got multiple people spraying you at once. Speaking of things that should have obviously been added to aid the war theme at the start of this season, with the Imagined Order deploying not only base blimps over the island but also adding tanks, this again is another item from Chapter 1, being the airstrike. As you can see, this is the official trailer for when it was released, and yeah, it's going to be returning, and I don't know what to say about this in terms of it being buffed or nerfed, because there's just been slight changes all around, despite the build damage being changed from 200 to 400 being double. And speaking of this war in itself, or the theme of this season, or ultimately what's going to be happening to develop to, yes, a live event that we're actually going to be seeing the first one of in Chapter 3 in this season, Season 2. As you can see right here, our upcoming map changes that we're expecting to see. If you didn't already know, the map is split into two sectors, the red resembling the Imagined Order and the blue representing the good guys or us, or what we're on the side of being the 7. When the 7 blue take back some parts of the map red, they will take the IO tanks, turrets, outposts, etc. and turn them into their own, and supposedly they will also crash blimps into these 3 red X marked locations, which Hypex tweeted out about right here, so we can kind of say goodbye to what we know of not only Rocky Reels, Tilted Towers or the outskirts of it, and again the same with the Daily Bugle perhaps. And something else interesting about this tweet, despite obviously the IO owning all of the tanks that are currently on the island, for those that don't know what the 7 tanks will look like, here is some early gameplay of those in the background right now, and here is the promotional image for it, as we're not going to be seeing this implemented on any of the buy stations, so it's not like we can decide when these come to the game like we did with the battle bus. But something that is 7 related that is going to be coming to these gold buy stations in themselves, or funding stations, is the brand new 7 chopper, which you can see more early gameplay of in the background right now. And as you guys know, these were actually teased in Chapter 3 Season 1 to be returning the choppers in the Naomi Osaka Icon Series trailer. Of course, this is going to largely contribute to the war that literally happens throughout this season duration in-game, kinda like we saw with sideways occurrences in Chapter 2 Season 8, as we're going to be seeing several waves or stages where we'll fight the IO guards, as you can see from this tweet, and apparently when we encounter them, it should play the IO guards music from Chapter 2 Season 5. Egyptian Leaker also follows up to this, stating a bunch of information about where these encounters will happen, and not only that, but it won't be an LTM, again, it will happen like the sideways encounters, and all of those locations are pinpointed on a minimap he's attached. Speaking of pinpoint locations on the map, however, here are all the possible Klombo spawn locations from last season, which now have been replaced in some particular areas of where they were meant to spawn or previously did, with some destroyed areas, and many people speculate Klombos have simply been removed whilst the Imagined Order and 7 are battling it out and will return to the island, or even that some have been saved and put into the Imagined Order vaults. As you guys know, these 2 big things were added at the start of this season that we currently can't get into, and why people are speculating Klombos are inside is because of the fact if you stand near one of the two, you hear these sounds. Despite this being convincing that Klombos or some sort of monster or creature is trapped inside each one, of course from going into replay mode now and glitching out behind it, we can't currently see anything inside, but Epic Games would do this anyway and not update what's meant to be in here into the game early, so that the future of the season isn't spoiled in itself. What you guys have to remember is Epic Games said if anybody harms these, they'll have to wipe out the entirety of Tilted, and maybe perhaps that means one or two are only left, as the entirety of Tilted is going to be destroyed by one of the crashing blimps. Of course, now to end off the video, however, speaking of Klombos returning, particularly out of one of these vaults, how it may look live, perhaps even in-game at a random moment, I'll play a short trailer for you. So before I stop talking, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and leave a like in today's video if you want to keep referring back to the intel. But without any further ado, I present you the Klombo returning out of the vault trailer.
Mm-hmm.